Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Yam Gavyajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedus Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta-vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Today is May 7th, 2026. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 9, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. We started this chapter yesterday. We discussed the introduction and we read the first verse. So in the first verse we saw Sukadeva Goswami saying that on one particular day or once upon a time. So this was the day of Deepavali. On that day, so and also Deepavali means this incident happened when Krishna was about 3 years old. So it was before Govardhan Puja had started. Back then they used to do Indra Puja. After the day after Deepavali used to be Indra Puja. So this was on Deepavali, Amavasya day. What happened that day? Yashoda Nandagehini. Yashoda, the wife of Nanda Maharaj. We saw what is the significance of Yashoda. Anyone remembers why Yashoda is said here? What is the reason for saying Yashoda in this verse? No, don't remember. Yashoda, Yasha, Da, one who gives Yasha. Yasha. Okay. So by this Leela, through this Leela, in this Leela we are going to see, or through this Leela, Yashoda Mai is going to increase the glory, the fame of Krishna. she's going to give fame to Kṛṣṇa. Yashoda means one who gives fame, one who gives glory. So here it is said Yashoda, on this particular day, Yashoda, Nanda Gehini, what did she do? Nirmamantha swayam dadhi. She started churning the yogurt herself. So why Yashoda is said? Because through this Leela, she's going to increase Kṛṣṇa's glory. Which glory? This chapter is entitled Mother Yashoda Binds Kṛṣṇa. That means Kṛṣṇa's glory, that he becomes controlled by his devotee. Yes, because he becomes controlled by his devotee. He becomes bound by the love of his devotee. This, yes, aham bhakta paradina. So this quality of Kṛṣṇa is going to be illuminated through this pastime. How Kṛṣṇa's devotee ties Kṛṣṇa. How Kṛṣṇa is controlled by his devotee. So, and Yashoda Mai is going to highlight or glorify this quality of Kṛṣṇa. So she's going to give fame to Kṛṣṇa as one who is bound by the love of his devotee. That's why Yashoda. And Nanda Gehini, why it is said Nanda Gehini? Anyone remembers why Nanda Gehini? What does Nanda Gehini mean? Nanda Gehini.
The queen of Nanda's home, Nanda Maharaj.
Okay. So what is the significance? Why it is said like that? So here it is said Nanda Gehini. Gehini means Ardhangini. His better half, like that. Ardhangini. So Nanda Gehini. So in this, now we have to go back. Previously about Nanda Maharaj, in the 5th chapter, we read about Nanda Maharaj. It is said, Mahamana. Mahamana means the most fortunate. Most fortunate. There also why it is said Mahamana, because in whose comparison is Nanda Maharaj's fortune being glorified here? In comparison to Vasudeva. Nanda Maharaj gets to observe the Jata Karma ceremony of Kṛṣṇa. Nanda Maharaj gets to observe the birthday ceremony of Kṛṣṇa. Vasudeva didn't get to do that. How fortunate is Nanda Maharaj? That means his love is so great, he gets to enjoy the childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. So Nanda Maharaj is Mahamana. And here it is said Nanda Gehini, means the way Nanda Maharaj is Mahamana, most fortunate, being his Ardhangini, his better half, Yashoda Mai is also Mahamana. That is the significance. She is most fortunate. Why? Because this Leela is going to highlight the extremeness of prema of Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj. Especially Yashoda Mai, we will see. So this pastime is going to highlight the extremeness of the Vatsalya prema of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. So Yashoda, because she's going to give fame to Kṛṣṇa as one who is controlled by his devotees, one who is tied by his devotees' love. And secondly, Nanda Gehini, because she is most fortunate, again, because she has such love, because of which she is able to enjoy the childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. Then, Ekada Griha Dasishu. So what did Yashoda Mai was churning yogurt by herself. But who is she? She is Nanda Gehini. That means she is the queen. Yes. Nanda Gehini means she is the queen of Nanda Maharaj's home. She is Swamini. She is the mistress. Then why she is doing this work? She has so many servants. So that is the question there. And what happened to all the servants? Griha dasishu karmantara niyuktasu. All the dasis, all her maidservants are engaged in different types of services. What is the reason? So this is being question by the acharyas why Yashoda is doing it herself, even though she has so many maids. So this is explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that she is concerned why my son is going and stealing, because she's receiving these complaints every day from gopis that Kṛṣṇa has gone to their home and he has stolen butter and he broke their pots, like that. All his activities there. So she's thinking why Kṛṣṇa is stealing in others' homes. What is the reason? There is butter in my house also, but he goes to others' homes. This must be because he does not like the butter that is in my house. The butter that is being made in our house, he doesn't like. But he likes the butter in others' homes. That's why he's going there and stealing. Why he's not liking the butter in our house? Because the maids are making, they are not making butter according to his taste. They are not making it in a way which is liked by him. Then actually, give me 1 second. I forgot something. Yes. So she's thinking Kṛṣṇa doesn't like the butter because these maids, they are not making the butter properly. So yesterday we discussed, it's not that somebody may say, what is there in making butter? Is it different? Yes, it is different. So many factors are involved to make that butter nice and delicious and tasty. There are many factors. So therefore she decided that she will relieve the maids from Kṛṣṇa's personal service. So this Kṛṣṇa eats that butter. So whatever steps are involved in making that butter, she will do it all herself. Kṛṣṇa's personal service will be done by her. And she will relieve all the maids from Kṛṣṇa's direct service. She decided like this. So that is one reason. Why Yashoda is churning yogurt herself? Because Kṛṣṇa is stealing butter from others' homes. And her conclusion is he's stealing because he doesn't like the butter that is made in Yashoda Mai's house. And why he is not liking? Because it looks like it's not made properly by these maids. So now she wants to make it in such a way, and I'll just tell you, that's also further explained. She wants to make it herself. So how is she going to do that? So she relieved them. Then what are they doing? She engaged them in other services. Why? Because now, so this is the other reason. The other reason is, second reason is, that day was Deepavali what happens on Deepavali? People do Lakshmi Puja. So Lakshmi Puja means they clean everything thoroughly. Whatever there is in the house, everything is nicely clean. So everyone else was busy in those services. All the maids were engaged in the preparations for Lakshmi Puja. And usually, when they make this butter, early in the morning, butter is made. So for Lakshmi Puja, whatever cleaning activities have to be done, all the other maids are engaged. They were all busy in those services. Therefore, Yashoda Mai started doing it herself. One reason is that because it was Lakshmi Puja. Also, not only that, the next day was Indra Puja. So Indra Puja means they have to prepare so many offerings to be offered to Lord Indra. So many sweets and so many preparations. For that, first you have to make flour, right? Rice flour and besan and so many things. So they're preparing all that, making syrup, sugar syrup, jaggery syrup, and then grinding them. They they pound it with their hand, the dal and all that. So a lot of work. So all the maids were engaged in that, in preparations and in cleaning activities for Deepavali. So therefore, everybody was busy. So Yashoda Mai was doing herself. So that can be one reason. And the other reason is she wanted to do it herself for Kṛṣṇa. She relieved them, all the maids, from any personal services, especially making butter here. She relieved all the maids from that. So now she is churning. What kind of butter is she churning? What kind of yogurt is she churning? And this yogurt is made from which milk? So here it is said, Nanda Maharaj had many, many cows. How many cows? Cows equivalent to one pravṛddhe. How many? One pravṛddhe. What is one pravṛddhe? Does anyone know what is one pravṛddhe? One pravṛddhe means Brahmaji's life has two pravṛddhas. First 50 years is one pravṛddhe, and the second 50 years is second pravṛddhe. Which pravṛddhe are we in now?
Second.
Yes, second pravṛddhe. This is the first day of the second pravṛddhe. We are in the first day of the 51st year of Brahmaji's life. First day of the 51st year. So first pravṛddhe is over. This is the second pravṛddhe. So it is said, Nanda Maharaj had one pravṛddhe of cows. What does that mean? That means as many days, or let's say years, as many years or years there are in one pravṛddhe. How many years there are in one pravṛddhe, So you start with one Kali Yuga has 432,000 years. Dwapar Yuga has twice that. Treta Yuga has 3 times that. Satya Yuga has 4 times that. If you add all of them together for one Chatur Yuga, you will have 4,320,000 years. 4,000,003, or 4, you can say 4.3 approximately million years. 4,320,000 years. This is in one Chaturyuga. How many such Chaturyugas are there in one day of Brahmaji? Times 1,000. So 4 million times 1,000 is what? So that's like 4.3 billion. Just multiply. Okay. So 4,320,000 multiplied by 1,000 is 12 hours of Brahmaji. Times, that is 12 hours of Brahmaji. actually that much time is there for night also. So you'll have to do it times 2. That's 24 hours. That's just one day. So in his 1 month, there are 30 days. So that you multiply times 30. And like that, there are 12 months in his 1 year. So multiply that, whatever you got, multiply that by 12. That equals 1 year of Brahmaji. So 1 praraddha is 50 years. Multiply that by 50. So whatever number you get, that many cows Yashoda Mai had. Many, 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 millions of cows. Yashoda Mai had many cows. 1 praraddha of cows. Now, she has to select which cows. Is she just going to take from just any cows? No. She wants to collect milk from the best cows of this herd. Herd consisting of 1 praraddha, so many cows. Of that, she has to select the best. You know which ones she selected? Of all those millions of cows, she would select milk from 6 or 7 cows only. These are the best cows. So the name of these cows is Padmagandha. Yes, Mataji?
Kṛṣṇa Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, we hear like 9 lakh cows Nand Baba has. Normally we hear that, right?
Right.
That
We
number.
also, yes, we hear 900,000. Yes. Here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says 1 praraddha. And that's how
Okay.
it is explained. 1 praraddha means that means.
And this 9 lakh number, from where does it come?
I just heard it in a lecture, Mataji. I'm not
Even
sure.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Sure. So, yeah. So from so many cows, she selects only 6 or 7 cows. And the name of this cows is Padmagandha. Why is it called Padmagandha? Because these cows are, they give the color of the, so actually the way it is explained here, I forget, I think I read it in the commentary, yes, that these cows are so rare that, you know, just like how rare is it to find a fully white horse with a black ear? Spotless white horse with 1 black ear. If you go looking for a horse like that, when will you find such a horse? So like that, Padmagandha cows are like that, so rare. Amongst a big herd of cows, to find a Padmagandha cow is rare. And the way it is rare to find a horse that has 1 black ear. This is also actually significant. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it will come later on. We didn't come to that section yet in our reading. But there is a mention like this, you know, when there was a demand of horses, you know, there is a mention like horse who's all white horses with 1 black ear. That means, it means to say it's very rare to find like that. That's the point. So that's how rare it was to find a Padmagandha cow. Yeah, it is said countless. You cannot count. It doesn't say 900,000 here. It says Yashoda Mai had countless cows. Her husband's cows. Nanda Maharaj had countless cows. And of those countless, there is 7 or 8 which were extremely rare, and they were Padmagandha. Padma means lotus, Gandha means fragrance. Then why these cows are called Padmagandha? Because the milk that they give, these cows, the milk that they give is Sugandhi Payasam. That means it's very, very tasty and also very, very fragrant. The milk given by these cows is very fragrant and very delicious, very tasty. Why the milk is so fragrant? Because they eat fragrant grass. These Padmagandha cows eat only fragrant grass. They don't touch any other type of grass. Cows are actually supposed to go and graze in the fields. And they select which grass they want to eat. There are many things here. Cow is called our mother, not just like that. See, what does a mother do for the child? If the child is, has some health issue, she will prepare the food in such a way that it will treat that problem, that health issue of the child. She doesn't even have to say anything. She'll just put those ingredients in the food so that that issue will be addressed, that problem will be solved. This is the nature of the mother. So, Mother Earth, Mother Cow, same thing is applicable there. When you walk bare feet on Mother Earth, she can sense what is deficient in you, and she will produce those things. And by eating that, simply by walking on her also, she just pulls down, like she balances the voltage in your body. This is science, actually. You get diseases because of imbalance in voltage. She balances it. Not only that, when you walk bare feet on earth, like a mother can feel, by touching your body, she can feel, whether you have a fever or not, and, if you're healthy or you're not feeling well. Like that, when you walk on the earth, she can sense, and she will produce those foods which will heal you. In the same way, it is said about the cow, mother cow. When you have mother cow in your house, she will know what is the issues, health issues. Maybe you have some stomach disorder or whatever. She will go and she will select those grasses, those herbs. By eating that will come through her milk, and when the family members drink that milk, their problem is solved. It's a very, very personal relationship. And when you hear stories, you will be moved. I heard some, like they're so sensitive that even if they are living far away, they can sense how you are doing. And if you die, they're far, far away, but they will feel the pain like a mother feels, because of that bond, because of that affection. So the point is, cows should go and graze freely because they select what type of grasses they want to eat. And what comes in the milk is highly dependent on what they eat. Whatever they eat reflects in their milk, cow urine, cow dung. gomutra, gobar, and milk. Dugdha. The type of grass that the cows eat, that will be reflected. So this Padmagandha cow eats only very fragrant grass. This cow will not touch any other grass. All the time she will go and select the most fragrant grass. Naturally, when she gives milk, that milk is very, very fragrant and it is super delicious. Just imagine, out of whatever number, one praraddha number of cows, that means countless cows, 6 or 7 cows are Padmagandha cows. Yashoda Mai selects those cows and she'll collect the milk of those. She did this before. Today, Deepavali day, she's churning butter. That means she's churning yogurt to make butter. But previously, she already collected Padmagandha cow's milk. And then in an earthen pot, clay pot, right? It's boiled on a low heat. She did it herself. She did all the steps herself. She didn't give to any maid servants this time. She boiled it. So it is said that she took several samples. She took several samples, and of that she took the best one. So she boiled milk, then brought it, cooled it down to the appropriate temperature, put the culture in it. She made the yogurt, nice thick yogurt. The day before, she made all these preparations. Now, early in the morning, on the day of Deepavali, she took from all the samples, she took the best one and she began to churn it to make butter. Why? Because she wants to make butter which is very, very tasty. That means it should be made properly with great care and attention. Then you'll get the best outcome, best output, that butter. So that Kṛṣṇa will like this butter and he will not go to steal in others' homes. So what do you understand from this? You understand how much love Yashoda Mai has for Kṛṣṇa. She was thinking that her servants were not doing their job properly. That's why my child is not liking the butter. So I will relieve them from this service and I will do everything myself for my child. That's what she thought. These servants should not do personal activities. I will do them myself. And of course, the other reason is that she wanted them to, they were all busy in preparation for the festival. So that was the first verse. And we did not, I can just read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary directly. We have discussed most of the points, but I didn't read it. I'm going to read it now. Kṛṣṇa became, you want me to share the screen? This chapter describes how Kṛṣṇa stopped Yashoda from churning yogurt in order to drink her breast milk. We didn't come to that yet, but this is the subject of this particular chapter. How Kṛṣṇa stopped Yashoda Mai from churning yogurt so that he can drink her breast milk. And how Yashoda put Kṛṣṇa down to go elsewhere. So she started feeding him, but then she put him down to go somewhere else. So these two subjects are discussed in this chapter. What is the first one? How Kṛṣṇa stopped Yashoda Mai from churning yogurt. Why? So that he can drink her breast milk. How he stopped her so that he can drink her breast. Second is how she put Kṛṣṇa down to go and attend to the milk on the pot. Kṛṣṇa became angry Why we are discussing this already? Okay, so this is still a discussion of, I'll just read it. Kṛṣṇa became angry because he was not finished drinking, so he broke the churning pot, stole butter, and was bound up by Mother Yashoda. You bind up the people who are engulfed in theft, anger, and other low qualities and make them cry. Now, you who have become implicated in theft, overwhelmed with anger and bound up by Yashoda, are crying. So, I'll just keep reading, okay? The most astonishing and uncommon parental love, Vatsalya Prema, wherein Kṛṣṇa became the object of that prema, Vishaya. And Nanda and Yashoda were the shelter, Ashraya. That means this prema is where? In the hearts of Nanda and Yashoda. And this prema is for whom? For Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa is the object, he is the Vishaya, and they are the Ashraya, the shelter of this prema. That means that prema is sheltered in their hearts. Must have been the result of a most extraordinary and unparalleled form of sadhana. Isn't this what Parikshit Maharaj asked? This type of love, how they got? What type of sadhana did they do? So Parikshit had asked the question to Sukadev. What type of sadhana did Nanda and Yashoda do? But the story of Drona and Dhara did not reveal such extraordinary sadhana. So in answer, Sukadev Goswami, at first he was like, what is this? Why this type of question is being asked like that? But still he gave some answer. But it didn't really give any specifics of any particular sadhana or anything. He just said that Drona and Dhara, they followed the order of Brahmaji and Brahmaji blessed them. That's all. So here it is being said, Parikshit had asked the question to Sukadev, but the story of Drona and Dhara did not reveal such extraordinary sadhana. Seeing that Parikshit was not too pleased after hearing that answer, he was not completely satisfied. So Sukadev told him about Kṛṣṇa's Damodar Leela. So this is continuation of the previous chapter. In the previous chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asked a question, and apparently Sukadev Goswami answered through the history of Drona and Dhara, but that really didn't answer Parikshit Maharaj's question. So seeing that Parikshit was not too pleased, Sukadev told him about Kṛṣṇa's Damodar Leela to give the real answer to Parikshit's question. What is the question? What past auspicious activities did Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj perform to achieve the perfection of getting Kṛṣṇa as their son? This was a question asked in 10th previous chapter, 46th text. So the answer is given here. So now we come to this first verse. On the Deepavali day, festival day of lighting ghee lamps, Yashoda began churning yogurt for Kṛṣṇa's pleasure. She became absorbed in thought how from among her husband's countless cows, there were 7 or 8 who were as rare as a horse with one black ear, who ate the most fragrant grass, and who gave the tastiest fragrant milk for the satisfaction of her son. Yashoda personally churned because she wanted to make special butter for her son. How could her servants, who often burned the milk, do this properly? Driven by a stubbornness arising from Vatsalya Prema. What is that stubbornness? I will make it myself. Right? They're not doing a good job. So driven by a stubbornness, but where is that stubbornness coming from? Arising from Vatsalya Prema. Yashoda concluded that others could not do the job properly. From that day forward, Yashoda resolved that she would prepare all Kṛṣṇa's butter, milk, and other eatables. So not only butter, but all his eatables she will make herself. Milk that he will drink, she will only boil. And butter she will make from scratch. And all other eatables, sweets, whatever she makes, everything she will make herself for Kṛṣṇa. They would be so tasty that Kṛṣṇa would no longer go to others' houses to steal. Yashoda, so this is the plan. This is the reason. So that Kṛṣṇa will not go to others' homes to steal. Yashoda was churning the best yogurt from among countless samples that she had prepared the day before with her own hands. So you see, these other cows are also eating grass, but Yashodama is thinking, who knows what type of grass they're eating and what type of milk is coming. So she actually collected samples to see which are the most fragrant, which milk is most fragrant. It's coming from Padmagandha cow, like that. And she made that yogurt. And after making that yogurt, first she collected that milk, she boiled it, she made yogurt, and now she's churning that into butter. So now let's read Srila Prabhupada's. Actually, there's another verse. We didn't read that yesterday. The second verse. So this is what we read. Ekada griha dasishu Yashoda nandagehini karmantara niyuktasu nirmamantha swayam dadi. So she's churning that. And what type of yogurt she's churning, we saw the details. And why she's doing that, we also saw that. Now next, what is she doing while she's churning? Yāni yānīha gītāni tad-bāla-caritāni cha dadhi-nirmanthane kāle smarantī tāny agāyata. Yāni iha gītāni. Yāni means those. Iha means this. So what is this iha? Means whatever pastimes I have narrated to you so far, Parikshit. We are in the 9th chapter now. We have already read about, Kṛṣṇa's birth, Kṛṣṇa's killing of Putana, Kṛṣṇa's killing of Shakatasura, killing of Trinavarta, and what to speak of Kṛṣṇa's crawling pastimes, then his pastimes of stealing butter, his showing of the universal form within his mouth to Yashoda Mai. All these, whatever, and the name-giving ceremony of Kṛṣṇa, especially all the wonderful activities, right? Pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. Whatever I have described so far to you, Parikshit, iha means whatever I have told you so far. Those, yāni, those pastimes. Iha means whatever I have told you so far. Gītāni, she's singing, Gītāni, in the form of song. You see, and what are those? What is the subject matter? Tad-bāla-caritāni. So these are all the childhood pastimes. Means iha means whatever I have narrated to you. What have I narrated to you? All the childhood pastimes. Tad-bāla-caritāni means Kṛṣṇa's childhood pastimes. Dadhi-nirmanthane kāle, during the time of churning that yogurt. So Yashoda Mai is seated. You see, this is early in the morning time. Early in the morning, Kṛṣṇa is still sleeping. He didn't wake up yet. So he's sleeping in one room, and in another room, Yashoda Mai is churning the yogurt. Early in the morning. So she's in another room. She's not seeing Kṛṣṇa at that time. And when you churn butter, there is a separate room for churning butter. There's a room in villages. There is a room to keep all the pots and all the milk and milk products. Then there's a separate room where cooking is done. And then there's a room where churning is done, where you churn yogurt to make butter. And the setup is like this. Usually in the room, there is a fixed pole. And next to that pole or in front of that pole, you have a big clay pot, a huge clay pot. When you churn, you have to stand up and churn because it is, it's really like large scale. It's not like in small pots, you take, that, what do you call that to churn butter? Kavam, in Telugu they say, right? To churn butter like that. If with your hand you churn like this. You keep the small butter pot between your feet. You sit down and then you churn. This is not that setup. This is a bigger setup where you have to actually stand up. So there's a room where there's a huge clay pot in which all the yogurt is kept, and there is a churning rod inside the pot, and there is a rope tied to the rod, and it is supported around the pole. And the person who is making the butter is holding the rope with both hands. So there's two ends. So when you pull one side, you let go the other side. And then you pull this one and you let go this. So what's happening is when you're pulling and letting go, that rod, churning rod, is moving clockwise and anti-clockwise, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So you stand there and you go like that. So this happens in a room, a separate room, where churning is done. So Yashoda Mai is there. Already in the previous verse, we heard that Nirmamanta Swayam Dadi. She is personally churning yogurt. While churning yogurt, dadhi-nirmanthane kāle, during that time when she is churning yogurt, she is in another room. Kṛṣṇa is still sleeping in the next room. So she is not seeing Kṛṣṇa at that time. So what is happening to her? She cannot live even for a moment without seeing Kṛṣṇa. This is the nature of Yashoda Mai's love. She cannot live even for a moment without seeing Kṛṣṇa. And because Kṛṣṇa is still sleeping and he is not in front of her eyes, her heart is agitated. Her heart is agitated because of not seeing Kṛṣṇa. And she is not able to bear that separation from him. She is experiencing this pain of separation from Kṛṣṇa. To get relief from that pain of separation, she begins to sing. She's singing about the various childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa. So here we are saying yāni iha gītāni. She's singing whatever, that means all the pastimes that have been narrated so far, the childhood pastimes of Kṛṣṇa, some experts have composed those pastimes in the form of a song. And she's singing those songs. You may be aware, traditionally, even possibly in your childhood also, if you have been in villages, Srila Prabhupada also says this. Or even if you see some old black and white movies, you will see this. In temples, or even just in villages, they have Harikatha. So there are these people, they're like professional reciters of the pastimes of the Lord, harikathakars. So in the evenings they will come and the whole village will gather, will assemble, like after dinner, right? They have early dinner and they'll just hear harikatha. So they can describe some stories from Mahabharata or, Lord Varahadev's pastime, Lord Narasimhadev's pastime in the form of a song. It is in poetry. Sometimes Burra Katha is also there, right? In the form of poetry, they sing. They have some, some small drum or like kartal, and then they sing the pastimes of the Lord. So that means this tradition is there. Experts, they write, they compose the Lord's pastimes in the form of songs, and then people sing these songs. Even, when they're doing work, the ladies in fields, they're singing. So Yashoda Mai is singing those songs composed by experts. About what? About Krishna's childhood pastimes. And in this way, while singing about Krishna's pastimes, she's getting relief from her pain of separation, that she's not able to see Krishna at that time. Even the shlokas that we have in Bhagavatam, they're actually supposed to be sung. It's not prose like we read purports, not like that. There is a meter, you sing it. So like this, Yashoda Mai is singing. So we understand this is the love of the Gopas and Gopis. They cannot stay without Krishna even for a moment. 24 hours. This is 24 hours Krishna consciousness. So now we'll see. Yāni, yānīha, gītāni. Those. Yāni means those. Iha means whatever I have told you. Tad-bāla-caritāni, the childhood pastimes of, tad means Krishna. Gītāni, right, in the form of song. Dadhi-nirmanthane kāle, while she is churning that yogurt, smarantī, tāny, agāyata. So she is remembering. She is remembering those pastimes and she's also singing them. She is remembering those pastimes of Krishna and she's also singing them in the form of songs. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sri Sukadeva goes, so this is both 1 and 2. Texts 1 and 2. Yesterday I explained 1. Today I explained 2. Now the translation and purport is for both the verses. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. One day when Mother Yashoda saw that all the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, she personally began to churn the yogurt. That's why. When she saw that all maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, why? So one reason is because it was Deepavali. There were a lot of services to be done. And also the next day was in the puja. So everybody was busy. All maidservants were engaged. So she personally began to churn. But also we hear from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. She didn't want them to do that because Krishna is not liking their butter. So you can take either reason. So she personally began to churn the yogurt. One day when Mother Yashoda saw that all the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, she personally began to churn the yogurt. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Kṛṣṇa. Smarantī. Smarantī, tāny, agāyati. What is she remembering? Bāla-caritāni, Krishna's childhood pastime. So while churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quoting from the Vaishnava Toshani of Srila Sanatana Goswami. So who is first Srila Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, then Jiva Goswami, then after that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this is the timeline. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quoting from the Vaishnava Toshani of Srila Sanatan Goswami. That means Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is quoting from Srila Sanatan Goswami's commentary. Vaishnava Toshani says that the incident of Krishna's breaking the pot of yogurt and being bound by Mother Yashoda took place on the Deepavali day. So this we didn't read yet, but Krishna is going to break the pot. So this Krishna's breaking of the pot of yogurt, and then Yashodama is binding him. This took place on Deepavali day. Who's saying this? Sanatan Goswami is saying that. And that is being quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Or Deepamalika. Deepavali or Deepamalika. Even today in India, this festival is generally celebrated very gorgeously in the month of Kartik by fireworks and lights, especially in Bombay. It is to be understood that among all the cows of Nanda Maharaj, several of Mother Yashoda's cows ate only grasses so flavorful that the grasses would automatically flavor the milk. Mother Yashoda wanted to collect the milk from those cows, make it into yogurt, and churn it into butter personally. You can turn on the light also. So Mother Yashoda wanted to collect the milk from these cows, make it into yogurt, and churn it into butter personally, since she thought that this child Kṛṣṇa was going to the houses of neighborhood Gopas and Gopis to steal butter because he did not like the milk and yogurt ordinarily prepared. While churning the butter, so this is second verse, while churning the butter, Mother Yashoda was singing about the childhood activities of Kṛṣṇa. It was formerly a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry or have this done by a professional poet. It appears that Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Kṛṣṇa's activities at any time. Therefore, she poeticized all of Kṛṣṇa's childhood activities. So either she made it herself or she had an expert make them into songs, such as the killing of Putana, Aghasur, Shakatasur, and Trinavarta. And while churning the butter, she sang about these activities in poetical form. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Kṛṣṇa conscious 24 hours a day. Sometimes devotees ask, how can we do that? How can we do that? So you can do this. Make Kṛṣṇa's pastimes in the form of a song and you keep singing of them all the time. Or just memorize all these verses about this pastime and keep singing. When you sing these verses, you'll be remembering Kṛṣṇa's pastime of Damodar Leela, or another Leela, or Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, or Kunti Maharani's prayers, right? Just memorize them and keep singing them. And to memorize also, we used to do that, because initially you won't know everything by heart. So I saw devotees do this also. Like they wanted to memorize Brahma Samhita. They have the whole Brahma Samhita typed on a paper, like copied on a paper, on a sheet of paper, and they will just stick it wherever they have their service, right? Like in the morning, you go to clean the deity's paraphernalia, whatever, right? And they will have it stuck on the wall. Every day when they're doing that particular service, they're just looking at that and they're reading it aloud, reciting it aloud. And after you do it for a few days, then it's memorized. You don't need that paper anymore. But the thing is, you have it memorized now. You keep singing. So you can do this with different prayers. Start with one set. And then after you have, you memorize it fully. And of course, when you memorize it, it is expected that you should know the meaning of what you're saying. Initially, you can memorize it just like that. Actually, it will happen. In fact, it's easier. It's easier to remember, to memorize, if you understand the words, the meanings. It's, so you can do that. Srila Prabhupada is saying here, right? If you really want to, if you don't want, you see the value in something, right? You really want to remember something, then the best way is to keep singing it all the time. like Yashoda is doing. See, in the purport version of Prabhupada is saying that it was formerly a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, so if you want to remember something constantly, what do we want to remember constantly? We want to remember Kṛṣṇa constantly, isn't it? That is Shuddha Bhakti. 24 hours, you should be Kṛṣṇa conscious. 24 hours. So you want to remember Kṛṣṇa consciously. So formerly, it was a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry. We already have it in the form of poetry. We have Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad Gita. Gita means what? Song. The song of God. It's already in the form of a song. Srimad Bhagavatam also. It is called Sukha Samhita. The song of Sukadev Goswami. So, Brahma Samhita. Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can memorize. Why not? And sing. He would transform it into poetry and or have this done by a professional poet. It appears that Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. What is the idea behind this? She didn't want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. So you can select any particular section of the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, or all of them, different sections from all of them. And, you want to remember it all the time. Generally devotees do this with prayers. Bhishmadev's prayers, Kunti Maharani's prayers, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, Brahma Samhita. Of course, Shikshashtakam. Sometimes chapters of Bhagavad Gita, whole chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Then you just keep singing. And this is a very good exercise. Those of you who want to make Kṛṣṇa consciousness exciting for kids, they love to memorize. They love to memorize. So give them something like this, and along with them, you will also learn. That's how I learned, actually, because I wanted my children to do it. So then you cannot expect that they will learn it themselves. For you to engage them, you should know. So I would be learning with them, along with them, Bhagavad Gita verses. So you can do that. It appears that Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. Therefore, she poeticized all of Krishna's childhood activities, such as the killing of Putana, Aghasur, Shakatasur, and Trinavarta. And while churning the butter, she sang about these activities in poetical form. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. So that eagerness is required. When we are eager, then we will make such endeavors. Actually, you'll get so many, if you become eager to do like this, you will get, the path opens up. You can do many things. You can just read one chapter a day. Just read the translations of Bhagavatam, one chapter a day. Like that. Something, But this should be the practice. What is the practice? That at all times, I should not forget Krishna's activities at any time during the day. Because if you don't make endeavor in this direction, I have this practical experience every day. The moment, if I make a rule for myself that I will do, morning I will do Aarti and I will chant my 16 rounds, and then I have this time class and this time class. So this time is for Kṛṣṇa. What happens? As soon as you are done with that, now you're like, okay, I've done what I'm supposed to do. Now let me see what's going on in the world, what's happening, what's news, and what's this or what's that. Finished. So therefore, it is not, that is the beginning. It's not being discouraged. That's good. Having some program is good. But that's not final. We must, this is how the pure devotees do. They are our role models. 24 hours, even 1 second, they cannot be without thinking of Kṛṣṇa, without seeing Kṛṣṇa, without hearing about Kṛṣṇa. Then how to get there? The path is also being given. Find some means. The best means, Srila Prabhupada is saying here, sing. Sing about Kṛṣṇa's activities, Kṛṣṇa's instructions, like that. And this should be practice for one who is eager to remain Kṛṣṇa conscious 24 hours a day. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Kṛṣṇa conscious 24 hours a day. Yashoda Mai is the example. She's churning butter and she's singing about Kṛṣṇa's activities. This incident shows how Kṛṣṇa conscious Mother Yashoda was. How Kṛṣṇa conscious Mother Yashoda was. She's doing her activities also. Of course, that activity also she's doing directly for Kṛṣṇa. So her activity is not karma. Not to be misunderstood with our doing our work and all that. No, no. Whatever she's doing, it is directly connected. It's like when you cook for the deities, that is direct devotional service. You're cooking directly, cooking for the deities only. This is for the deities. But when I go and do my occupational duty, even if you're doing it according to scriptures, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, these duties if you're doing, that is not direct devotional service. That is called karma. Yashoda Mai is not doing that. But externally it may appear like that, but it is not actually. She's doing direct devotional service. Just see, she's making it for Kṛṣṇa. But even while doing that work with her hands, her mind is completely absorbed. How everything is absorbed. With her lips, she's singing. With her hand, she's making butter for Kṛṣṇa. And she's remembering Kṛṣṇa in her mind. All body, mind, words, everything is absorbed in Kṛṣṇa. But even if you did any one of them, still you will be counted as a pure devotee. But the thing is, it should be continuous. There's no break. Why Srila Prabhupada is saying 24 hours a day? This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Kṛṣṇa conscious 24 hours a day. This incident shows how Kṛṣṇa conscious Mother Yashoda was. To stay in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, we should follow such persons. What else? Do we need any other proof? If you want to stay Kṛṣṇa conscious, then we should follow in the footsteps of such personalities. We should follow such person. You should take their example. Okay. The second verse also, let me read Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, and we will go to Bhagavad Gita. Second verse. The ladies of Vraja poeticized all of Kṛṣṇa's childhood activities. Having collected all these songs, Mother Yashoda began to sing these songs in order to pacify her longing to see Kṛṣṇa, who was sleeping in another room. So with that, we'll end Srimad Bhagavatam reading today. I'm reading Bhagavad Gita now. But yesterday, I was going to draw and show you, because now the section of this chapter is what is the destination of one who is in the mode of goodness? Where will he go after giving up this body? And then what about those who are in the mode of, the next verses will say, what is the destination of those who are in the mode of passion? Where do they go after giving up this body? And where do the people who are in the mode of ignorance go after giving up this body. So to explain that, let me show you this diagram first. Just open the page. So we were reading from, I think, 14 yesterday. So I think all of you are with, or I'll just do it, just universes are first formed. This is Mahavishnu or Karanodakashayi Vishnu. All the conditioned souls are in him before creation. These conditioned souls are covered by avidya. This is avidya. Inside, this is the living entity Jivatma, and this is avidya. And along with avidya, there is karma also of the living entities. Each one has karma and then avidya. And also, this is marginal energy. There is also external energy. So when the Lord decides to create or to become many, he brings his prakriti out and he glances on prakriti. Prakriti consists of the three modes. That's the title of this chapter. The three modes of material nature. That means goodness, passion, and ignorance. So when he glances, all these living entities are impregnated into Prakriti. Then Prakriti becomes Pradhana. And now Pradhana produces the 23 elements. And these 23 elements, remember, the Lord's glance, his eyes are open. So the glance is at every stage, this glance is falling on these 23 elements. That is when creation proceeds further. So then these 23 elements come together, forming innumerable universes. Some are small, some are big, some are medium, like that. So now we will take one universe as an example. Jagadanda universe. So when this universe is formed like this, when this universe is formed like this, Karanodakashayi Vishnu, his Prakasha. Prakasha means identical form. I showed only two hands. Actually, he has many heads. Saharsa, Shirsha, and then many hands and many legs, like that. So the same form, now he enters into the universe and he fills the universe with his perspiration. Half of the universe is filled with his perspiration. And that water is called Garbhodaka Jal, Garbhodaka ocean. And the Lord lays down on this water. So this is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Actually, he's inside the water. Okay. He's laying on the water. Now, from this universal shell, it's made of these 23 elements. The shell is made of 23 elements. Similarly, those 23 elements are also there inside, those 23 elements, along with these living entities covered with avidya. They're there inside. They entered Prakriti, right? Now, when these universes are formed with these 23 elements, these living entities are distributed to different universes. So based on their karma, those that have similar karma, that means they are supposed to face those conditions, they'll be sent to one particular universe, like that. They're divided, distributed throughout. So this universe has its set of living entities here and those 23 elements. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu takes these 23 elements inside his belly and keeps it there. For how long? For 1000 years. 1000 years. So within 1000 years, this grows into Virata Purusha. So when he takes these elements inside, he also enters inside as Antaryami or Paramatma. He himself enters here once again. Only when Paramatma enters does the growth begin. So first, the holes are formed, eyes, nostrils, mouth, like that, holes are formed. Then gradually hands, legs. What does this baby look like? Exactly like Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, with many, many heads, many, many hands, many, many legs, like that. Looks just like the parent. After 1000 years, then from his navel, this child, which is none other than the Virata Purusha, comes out. So many, many hands. So this is Virata Purusha. So Virata Purusha also there is two. There is gross and subtle. And on top of this stem is the lotus. And in the lotus is Brahmaji with 4 heads. So Brahmaji is here. And all these living entities covered with avidya, they are with Brahmaji now. Why did I tell this whole story? Because I want to show you the universe. Where are we? So this Virata Purusha is the universe. And on his various limbs are the various planets. For example, on his head is this Satyaloka. Then, near his neck, will be the planet below Satyaloka. That means Tapoloka. Then below that will be Janaloka, Maharloka. His chest is where there is Swargaloka, like that. Then Bhuvarloka, Bhuloka. Then you go to his legs, thighs, then it is lower planets, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, like that. So the same thing I can show you outside here. So here I showed you in the form of a lotus. Now I will show you in the form of the planets. Same thing. So you have this water, Garbhodaka Jal. What is there on this? This is the Earth planet. It's called BHUMANDALA. BHUMANDALA. It's not exactly touching the edges. Just there's a little bit of space. It's in the form of a disc. This is BHUMANDALA. BHUMANDALA. So in the center of this BHUMANDALA, actually this BHUMANDALA, if you see further, this BHUMANDALA has 7 like concentric islands. Like this. So this is what? This is this BHUMANDALA, this. So there are actually like, like this. Like this. In BHUMANDALA you have, so the islands, the central island is called Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa. So we'll see the details in the 5th canto. So Jambudvipa is surrounded by salt water, ocean, salt water. Then outside that, I forget, the next one I think is Shalmali Dweep or Plaksha Dweep, but there's the next island. And then after that, there's another ocean, there is sugarcane, juice, then there is milk ocean, there is liquor ocean, like the different oceans. Like this, there are 7 islands. 7 islands on this Jambudvip. Okay? So this is the surface of the earth. So this is actually the surface of this earth or Bhumandala. And you have all these islands. So there are totally 7 islands separated by 7 oceans. Bhumandala. So if you look at the universe, where is Bhumandala? This is Garbhodaka ocean. On Garbhodaka ocean, first you have Kurma. Kurma is inside water. And above Kurma is Anantasesh. Anantasesh is supported on Kurma. Because Anantasesh cannot directly be in water. Kurma will be in water. And Anantasesh is supported on Kurma. And on the hood of Anantasesh is this Bhumandala. And of course, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is laying down on Anantasesh. I drew a small one, but Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is laying down on this ocean like this. So, what is the depth of this water? 250 million yojana. 1 yojana is 8 miles. So this is the depth of this ocean. Kurma is 1 million yojanas height. Anantasesh is another 1 million yojanas height. Okay. Now, in the center of this Bhumandala, you have Jambudvip. In the center of Jambudvip, you have Mount Sumeru. In the center of Jambudvip, you have Mount Sumeru. So if you see here, in the center will be Mount Sumeru. And on top of Sumeru, here you have, Swarga. So the higher planets. And after this, you have all the higher planets. So this middle portion is Earth, Bhumandala. Swarga and higher planets are above. All the way on top will be Satyaloka. Swarga, then you have Maharloka, Janaloka. So Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, and on top will be Satyaloka. So this is Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru, top of Mount Sumeru is Swarga. So, one more point I have to tell you. Where are the lower planets now? I told you that this Earth, Bhumandala, is in the form of a disk. I drew it inside the universe. I'm just drawing it outside one more time. So on the surface of this disk, you're seeing all these oceans and islands, but this disk is thick. This disk it has its thickness, this Bhumandala. So how thick is it? It is 100,000 yojanas. 100,000 yojanas is the thickness or the height of this Bhumandala. So if you dig this, so in the center of this Bhumandala, so in Jambudvipa, in the center I told you is Mount Sumeru. Below, right under Mount Sumeru, if you dig inside, you will find these planets within the thickness of the earth. Which planets? You'll have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala. I'll just make it thicker. Rasatala, Patala. Where are you finding them? They are inside the thickness of the earth. So you will have each of these planets, subterranean planets, they are under Sumeru. So they are like cavities inside the earth's thickness. So let's say the first cavity, in that cavity you have Atala. What is the depth of this planet? 10,000 yojanas. 10,000 yojanas. Then you will find earth in between. Like me, like there is earth. For what is the thickness of this earth in between? 5,000 yojanas. Then comes the next cavity. That's the next lower planet, Vitala. That is another 10,000 yojanas deep. And then again, there is just earth. What's the thickness? That's 5,000 yojanas. In this way, you'll go inside. You'll have one below the other. You have these lower planetary systems inside the earth, the thickness of the earth, inside the earth. As you dig, you will go deeper and deeper. Under this Mount Sumeru, here, you'll find them. This is the situation of the universe. Now, where are we? We are in this Jambudvip, here, Jambudvip. This Jambudvip also has many varshas. There are 9 varshas in Jambudvip. I'll just write here. So Jambudvipa has 9 varshas. So on the southern side is Bharatvarsha. So we are in Bharatvarsha. And in Bharatvarsha, you have Bharatakhanda. Bharatakhanda means it is, we know generally it's a globe, isn't it? When you talk about earth, we show a globe. Actually, it's not exactly a globe. It is like an ice cream cone. So this is the earth. It's in the shape of an ice cream cone. Why? Where is this located? So this is, so if you have your Bharatvarsha here, then in Bharatvarsha, you'll find this ice. This is Bharatakhanda in Bharatvarsha. This is the earth as we know now. Why it is in the form of ice cream cone? Because the south pole is fixed. It's not exactly a globe. The north pole is free, but south pole is fixed. That's why you don't find any airplanes flying on the southern side. They only fly on the north pole, not on the south pole. So we are here now, Bharatakhanda, in Bharatakhanda. Then you have all these continents and everything here. So like this, so actually, yeah. So not Bhuman, not exactly here, sorry. So this is in Jambudvip, right? In the center of Jambudvip, you have Mount Sumeru. So in Jambudvip, you have these 12 varshas, not here, sorry. Because this will be the outer island here. So in Jambudvip, you have 9 varshas. So on the southern side, so you can say here, okay? Bharatakhanda is here in Jambudvip, next to Mount Sumeru. We are here now. What about the people living in other places? So you have Jambudvip, then you have people living here also. People living on this planet, on this, not planet, these are, what do you call them? Islands. So this is Bhumandala. In Bhumandala, you have different dvipas, islands. Except for Jambudvipa, and in Jambudvipa also in Bharatvarsha, and that too in Bharatakhanda, all the other places are heavenly planets. Bhauma Swarga. Bhauma Swarga means heaven on earth. And then you have actual Swarga here. Here you have Swarga, place of Lord Indra. But here also, these other places are all Swarga only. Bhauma Swarga. And then these lower planets, these are also Swarga. This is called Bila Swarga. That means they have all opulences. Bila Swarga. Only here in Bharatakhanda, you do karma, and then for that karma, you get a reaction. And then based on the result of your karma, you are sent to different parts. Either you can go to, if you have done, like we are reading, if you are in the mode of goodness, after you give up this body, if you are in the mode of goodness, you can be sent to, the whole thing is Bhumandala. So Bhumandala means, look at this one. So you can be sent to any of these islands here, Swarga, Bhauma Swarga, or you can be sent to, other parts also. You can go to Swarga here. Any of the Swargas you can go, depending on your, what is the mode which is influencing you prominently. So what we read yesterday was people who die in the mode of goodness. Those who are here, when we die in the mode of goodness, where do we go? It is said we will go to higher planets. Higher planets means you can either go to Satyaloka, topmost planet, Brahmaji's planet, or you can go to less, you have little less percentage of goodness. Then you can go to Tapoloka, or you can go to Janaloka, Maharloka, Swargaloka, like that. This is for those who are in the mode of goodness. So that's the verse we read yesterday. Is that clear? Does anyone have any questions on that? Yes, Mataji, Bhakti Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Mataji, we are on Shvetadvip planet, right?
Shvetadvip is where Kshirodakshay Vishnu resides.
So where it falls, Mataji?
Shvetadvip
In the
falls,
diagram?
it is above, I'll show you. Yes. So it is above this Swarga, here, somewhere here, above that. So Kshirodakshay Vishnu's planet is there.
Okay.
So that is the Vaikuntha in this universe. We are here, Bhumandala. In Bhumandala also, specifically, we are within Jambudvipa, in Bharatvarsha, in Bharatakhanda. So, you can say here, we are here.
Okay. So Shvetadvip only where the Kshirodakshay Vishnu resides.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
This is Shvetadvip, yes. And of course, Golok Vrindavan Dham is also called Shvetadvip, but that is not in this universe. But another name of Golok Vrindavan Dham is also Shvetadvip. But within this universe, Shvetadvip means where Kshirodakshay Vishnu resides.
Okay. Thank you.
So yesterday we read text 14. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. So great sages means Satyaloka, Tapoloka, Janaloka, Maharloka. These are the planets of the great sages. Which particular, so further details of this are also given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto. We will read, those who become perfect vanaprasthas, then they go to, I think, Tapoloka. If you become perfect sannyasi, then you go to Satyaloka, like that. If you become perfect brahmachari, I think you go to Janaloka, like that. There's a hierarchy there. Particularly exactly which planet you will go. That's why it is said, when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Purport. One in goodness attains higher planetary systems like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoys godly happiness. The word amalān is significant. It means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. Free means it's not completely free. They're in traces. Primarily, you have mode of goodness. It's given in quotes. That's why. Free from the modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. So, relatively speaking, mode of goodness is the purest, but it is not free from completely free, right? There are traces. But relatively speaking, mode of goodness is the purest form. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live. So that's what we read in this verse. We had read this verse yesterday. I think we will stop here today. Tomorrow we will read what will happen to those who die in the mode of passion. Where will they go? Which planets do they go? And then where will the people who are in the mode of ignorance go? That we will see in the next classes. Yes, Swati Mataji. So if anybody needs to go, you can go. It's okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat. Mataji, where the Dhruva Loka will be there, Mataji? Dhruva Loka.
Near Shvetadvip only.
Shvetadvip means Kshirodaksha Vishnu stays there.
Yes. It's not the same planet, but it is there near Shvetadvip. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Anyone else has any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.